Is it telling me that you're already connected?
There it goes. It's thinking.
All right.
It's thinking. It's always thinking. We see we're already live. Look at that.
See, and I just can't persuade Instagram that we're live. There it is.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it's always behind.
Yay! A little slow, but there it went. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So
Okay. Hi,
it's
all.
Christmas time, holiday times.
It
How
is.
fun! But we're talking about Andy and Plying today.
Right, because nothing says Western holidays like winding a whole bunch of yarn around one of your hands until you can't feel your fingers.
Yeah.
Very
It's way
celebratory.
fun.
Yep.
It really is fun. So I'm Katie with Yarn
I'm
Adventure
Q.
Trip.
Yep, and I'm Q from the Fold Up Cat.
And we're reading the Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs by Sarah Anderson.
Yep.
Together.
Excellent book. Very happy
and
with this.
This week we've been talking about pages 82. No, sorry. Let me go back here.
Pages
79 to 81.
Yep.
And there are a lot of pictures on those pages. Because today we're talking about Andean or bracelet plying. So
Katie, what do you think of Andean plying? Are you an Andean plying fan?
Bracelet plying is probably the least offensive of all terms because honestly it doesn't have anything to do, there's no roots otherwise noted. It's also known as Navajo plying,
which is totally unrooted.
Also again has absolutely nothing to do with those people that we know of in any way. So let's not appropriate terms. So bracelet plying, which basically means we're going to wrap our yarn, our singles, in a way around our hand and turn it into a bracelet where we will then ply two ends together. So end-to-end plying with that.
So why would you want to do that?
This is for a very small amount of singles. A lot of times we use it with leftovers. Oh, hey, silver linings. And yes. So a lot of times small amounts, if you're looking to do like sampling of how colors are going to play together, something small. This is not big yardage activities.
Now, that said, I do know somebody who did this with quite a lot of yardage. The issue being that she wound up attached to her spinning wheel for quite a long time.
Yeah, because once you're on it, like taking it off of your wrist, you lose how it's twisted on. And so
you have to keep it on there. You can wind multiple multiple bracelet plies. You can make multiple bracelets, is what that comes down to, and sort of move them up your forearm. But once you have done that, you cannot take them off you, except by spinning them off or plying them off.
Bathroom is really fun.
Right. So yes.
I don't recommend it.
Kind of like towing around an oxygen tank. You're towing around just
it is a lot of fun though. I do enjoy the process. It's kind of cathartic to like wrap your yarn. So I'm gonna go through, and I believe the method that I use has always been method 2. So Sarah Anderson mentions 2 methods. One of them you do a complete circle, which I don't actually understand how 1 and 2 are different.
Okay.
Yeah, so she does she has an extra loop, but she continues like moving in the same direction at all times.
Okay.
The way that I have been successful with it is you move in opposite directions.
Yeah, that's me too. So what we're talking about there, if you have the book or are following along, she outlines 2 methods for bracelet plying, method 1 and method 2. And both Katie and I struggled a little bit with telling the difference between them. And in part, that's probably because I am one of those people who really learns best by seeing somebody demonstrate a skill like this. It's harder for me to get it from a set of fixed photographs. But I also am not a fan of Andean plying because really, the process, what you're doing when you're doing bracelet plying is you are winding your yarn, whatever you're going to ply, you're winding it around one of your hands, around and around and around, so that you wind up having access to both ends of the yarn. And I have done this multiple times and have never successfully done it in a way that did not wind up bending my middle finger all the way down and basically imprisoning my hand, sort of like, the claw of Montellado. And so for me, that's an uncomfortable way to ply. If I want to apply something end to end, I will wind a center pull ball, which we talked about last week.
Yes.
Or if I am working just with the singles and don't want to do it end to end, I will chain ply it.
Yes.
So this is not, also right now, my hands will not really do this very well. I'm a left-handed fiber supply person. This is what I hold. This is the hand I hold my fiber with when I spin. And it's also the hand that I put the bracelet on when I'm bracelet plying. And my hands are not working very well right now. And this one is in particularly obstinate and irritable shape. So all that to say, hooray, Katie, who is actually going to try to demonstrate making a bracelet for bracelet.
And I'm probably just gonna end up winding this back onto the bobbin at some point, so don't. This is not gonna be a full.
If you want actual instructions, yeah, this is what we're giving you a little bit of a demo
because I am not going to ply this tonight.
Because you don't want to be
attached. Family is here, and we are doing things together. So
hello all on Instagram. I'm checking my live by the way.
Salt dough ornaments while ago.
Oh.
Grammy Lindy, and Grandpa John, Grumpy John, they made handprints, and so did Ella. So we.
Oh, yay!
Okay, so I'm taking the end of my yarn here. Hi, Carrie, and I'm wrapping it around my thumb, and then I'm going to come across my palm, around the back of my hand, and around my middle finger.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go follow that back around.
And
come back across my palm, so around the bottom part here. And this is where you want to make sure you have enough twist in your yarn, because otherwise things slide apart very quickly.
Enough twist in your
back across, and I'm going to go back around the back side of my hand. I'm going to go around the middle finger again. In the
Carrie, we are doing we're doing Andean plying, better known as bracelet plying, and Katie is demonstrating the bracelet part of that.
So you're going to go back the opposite direction now. So back under my pinky finger here, and the way that you want to keep this going, I'm going to take my wedding ring off. Hopefully, that usually helps because it usually
not a bad idea. Yeah. If you're going to do this, you can see that this method is actually going to wind your yarn around your fingers. So if you are wearing rings, particularly if you're wearing a ring, a lot of wedding rings, a lot of engagement rings have solitaires on them that have a setting that's kind of spiky. You don't want one of those real close to these loops. So this is something that you may wish to do without your rings on, if you're a ring wearer, as opposed to a ring bearer. That's a different job.
I went back around my middle finger. I come back down the back of my hand, and then I'm going to come across my palm again and back to the middle, to the in pinky finger side. And I'm going to keep going in that same direction. And I always wrap bottom to top. So I'll come around back to this side. Sorry. And then I'm going to come around to the back. See, down to the back. And then I come far side and then around.
Okay, far side to near side makes more sense to me than bottom to top.
Far side to near side, not top to bottom. Sorry.
Okay, I get that.
But yeah, and then I would just keep doing this. But as you can tell, if I start pulling, this is what's going to happen. Is I'm going to build up a bunch of stuff, and my fingers are going to start getting a lot in here. There's going to be a lot more in between my fingers here, and my fingers are going to start doing this number. And they get tighter and tighter and tighter. So you have to make a very conscious effort to like be very loose.
Yeah, look how loose she is with that. Bring your hand back a little bit. Yep. Okay, you can see how loose she's keeping that. So there's a lot of play there, and that means that the bracelet is something, I mean, in it, all joking aside, in an emergency, or if something arises and you really need to stop doing what you're doing, she doesn't have to break the single. She could slide that off her hand. That's going to cause other problems when she goes to untangle it, but she's going to be able to get it off. Whereas if you wind that bracelet too tightly, it really is going to be very difficult to remove, except by plying the yarn off. Yes, Carrie, absolutely right. Tension is important to be mindful of. The balance between putting it on there too tightly so that you are turning yourself into the claw, and putting it on there too loosely so that you are, you know, especially if you're an overspinner, which I am, if you put it on there really loosely, you may wind up with pieces that ply back on themselves as you're winding, and that's not
okay.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing.
It's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, Sarah actually says that in the book, that pigtails do happen, and that is something that you're okay seeing in this, because you would rather have it too loose than too tight.
Right.
So,
But
and
especially
you'll notice
if you're working with a furry wool, if you're working with something that's got a lot of fuzz or halo, the pigtails may not want to come out when you go to ply. So they are not a problem. You can work with them, but if you can avoid them by wrapping it with enough tension that the pigtails, the yarn doesn't pigtail back on itself, that is more optimal than having them. Optimaler? I don't know. I don't know what the
more optimal. Yeah, that
more
would
optimal.
be.
We'll stick with that.
Yeah.
Optimaler? I don't know. Anyway, so here she goes. And so you can kind of get into rhythm with this. If we're talking you through it, but you can see that after a while, you're winding around and you're winding around the bottom of your hand.
And then you forget what you go, you have to take it backwards. So that's what I do all the time.
So where, Katie, is the starting end of this yarn? It's around your thumb.
I wrap it around my thumb. And you'll notice that I keep resetting that because I don't want that to run away.
Optimus Prime. Exactly, Carrie. Yes, thank you. Okay, so that's going to be one end. And where's the other end going to wind up being?
So the other end will actually just be loose. And then whenever we come to that other end, you'll take the two ends and hold them together. So if I was done at this point, and I would take them and I would just kind of make sure I had them held off to the side. I can leave that first end wrapped around my thumb as I'm doing this. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully lift off of my palm a little bit, the whole bracelet, so that I have enough give to come over, pull my hand out of this. And basically you're trying to get to the point that you can take the loop and it's going to come down the back side of your hand. So this is a plying bracelet. So I have my end here on my thumb, and then I have my other end here, and then I would ply from this point. So as I pull on it, in theory, it should just come off.
Okay.
So as I keep pulling, you can see that it came all the way off.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes, that's what we want. That's what you're going for. So it's never actually wrapped. It's not wrapped tight enough around anything. And there's actually once you remove that loop from your finger, it's not actually connected to itself. It's not a full circle.
Okay.
It's just being held with the magic of wool.
Okay.
That tension that you've created. So if you pull really hard on it, it's just going to come apart. But because you've done this overlapping thing, it's going to hold enough tension as you ply it. You're not going to have any problems. But basically, it's on your wrist, you're able to hold both ends in your left hand to kind of hold them, or whichever hand you decide to put your bracelet on. Hold them here so they're coming off of your wrist and through your fingers. You could put tension here, and you can have tension with your other hand.
So you are aligning the hand that you've wound the bracelet onto roughly with the line of your plying into your wheel.
Yes.
Okay.
However that is, it will. You can adjust that around your wrist a little bit as you go. What's really fun is when you figure out that at some point you've forgotten and wrapped all the way around in a full circle at some point, and then there's this one point where it tries to choke your finger off, but other than that, you're fine.
Neat.
Which is really fun when your wheel's moving pretty fast.
I'm not entirely sure that we're selling the advantages of bracelet plying here.
It is a thing, and it is not, like I said, it's not like something I do a lot of, but I definitely have done my fair share of bracelet plying. So when I first started spinning, I bought my e-wheel from Fresh Lotus, and I bought it at a little festival in Illinois that no longer exists. And Brenda was with me, and I sat down and I learned I spun up my very first braid of rambouillet in this colorway called October Sunset that Julie dyed.
This is the thing that y'all need to understand. Katie never forgets anything connected with the fiber arts ever. So she can tell you exactly where she has bought every braid and every skein of yarn and what she has done with them and what the colorway was called and where she got them and when. It is astonishing and a superpower and also terrifying. So just, so you know that. So there you are, October, Rambouillet in
So
October, spinning away.
Rambouillet, October sunset. And so I spun my singles up in that for the very first time. And I was, all chunky, fabulous, and wonderful, right? And
Mhm.
so the next week I went to a different festival and also in northern Indiana. And she has to go. Somebody over here says they have to go, but it's a really cool concept. So thanks for demonstration. Yeah, check this out later. You can finish the rest of the story. But yeah, your nano wheel, that's a really good one for doing this with, for doing plying, because then you have that small amount of yarn. You're not fitting a ton of, 2 ounces is plenty on there. But yeah, so I spun up this Rambouillet, and then I went to this next festival like the week later, the one in Elkhart, the Fiber Expo,
Mhm.
Fiber
Mhm.
Quilt Expo in Elkhart, Indiana. And we stayed at this fabulous Airbnb. We love going there. It's called Silk on the Bend, and it's in Osceola, Indiana. And
Wow.
it's an Airbnb, and it's its basement, and it's all dark and cave-like and fabulous, and it sits right on the river, and you sit on the porch and just watch the river go by, and it's
Okay,
fabulous. So,
you're making
um,
me like Airbnb sick here.
and so we sat out there and I spun a bunch of stuff. I bought some Rolags. I believe I bought some Rolags I want to say at that festival, at the previous festival, but they
Okay,
were from AGEM, AJEM fibers out of Michigan. And it's someone I buy fiber from a lot, but she specializes in making Rologs. And these were in particular were a lovely Rambouillet and sparkle blend, and it was bright orange.
oh
And so I
god,
went through, and it was the first time I'd spun Rolags, and it was like my second braid of yarn. So I mean, I was really braid of
great
fiber. I was
fiber.
really like you.
Yep.
And so, and I spun that, and I got it pretty thin. I've got a pretty good twist on it. And then I was like, okay, so now what do I do? So I got to the end of the month, and I went to another festival, and I picked up some pink, I mean, pink yarn, fiber from um, Laughing Cat.
You
And
okay?
she gave me some Falkland, and I just spun up this Falkland. And I had all these, like, I was like, okay, so I learned how to ply. I
Right?
sat at home like 4th of July weekend, and I learned how to ply. And so I had all my bobbins everywhere, and I was two
Some people
plying
set off
yarn, and
fireworks.
it was
Katie
great,
acquires some
right?
fiber art
And the
skills. Okay,
cats
yep.
were like all excited because there was fiber everywhere. And there's
Yeah.
videos of all that. And then I got to the end, and I had leftovers.
Ah,
And
now
so
this is
my very
something.
first
Yes.
Andean ply, or my
Yep.
very first bracelet, was that orange, those orange Rologs, because
Yep.
I had so much left over from, because the Rambouillet that I did, the October sunset, was all that big chunky stuff.
Yep.
It was that first spin, and so it was all over the place, which was great and beautiful, and I love it. But I didn't know what to do with all these leftovers. And so I
Yep.
learned how, like the second month I was spinning, I learned how to do bracelet plying,
This
because I
is
sat at home and I tied myself to a chair basically for like 2 days because I was like,
a
I don't know how
convention.
to do this.
That's actually a suggestion that Am by Marie Knits over on Instagram made. They said
Mhm.
that's what they do when they have yarn left over on a bobbin.
Yeah.
What I tend to do is chain ply it off, which is a similar idea. You're clearing it off and making yarn out of it. But I love the idea of, if you've spun a couple of, because at least in my life, let's say I've done two bobbins because I want to spin fractal. And so I've done my two bobbins. Very, very, very rarely do they match up exactly. And
Hmm.
it's much more common that I have a little bit left over on one bobbin or the other. And if, by a little bit left over, I mean 4 yards, that's probably just going to get, wound off and stuck in my treasure jar or put in one of my students' treasure bags for my freestyle weaving classes. But if I've got, more than that left, Andean plying would definitely be a way to get a 2-ply yarn out of that, without probably tying my hand into a knot, because it's much harder to do that when you have a smaller amount of yardage.
Yeah.
So, note to self, good suggestion from you and from M by Marie Knits. I appreciate knowing that.
Yeah. Carrie over on Facebook, she said that we should come to the Wooster Fiber Festival in
Oh,
Ohio. We do actually come to the Wooster Fiber Festival in Ohio. That is the Great Lakes Fiber Fest. That
oh
is
yeah,
the
I'll be there
last
for the first
weekend in
time.
May, and Q will also be there this year.
Yes,
So
I'm
be
so
sure and check
excited
us
about
out
that.
while we're there. And Carrie says she's also a very new spinner and hasn't seen found the neck yet. Well, you are in the great spot. And honestly, the biggest thing that we can tell you about any spinning journey is to take it. So sit down with it and do it.
Yep.
And that means setting it up and having it set up for a month every day, sitting down with your wheel or your spindle or whatever it is that you're doing, and really spending some time with it. 15, 20 minutes a day. Stop when you get frustrated. Uh, you'll see a big difference in yourself and your journey.
And
So I hate to be that way.
no, it's
Yeah.
annoying. It's the thing because you do have to practice. That's the thing about spinning is you do have to practice it. And I mean, I think it's very important if you're going to do the regular discipline of spinning every day, which I think is a terrific idea. Number one, put your wheel someplace where it doesn't have to be put away. You know, find a corner of some place. Carrie, you've got a nano. The nano upside of the nano is it does not take up very much space. So put it in a corner somewhere. And if you have adventurous, animals that might want to mess with it, cover it with something that they'll find boring, like, a tea towel. And then another thing that would be important is if you are within that 10 to 20 minutes thing and you're frustrated, just walk away. Don't keep beating your head against it. Another important consideration, and this is regardless of what wheel you have, if it is not working for you, it may very well be that you do have the knack for spinning and you don't have the right wheel for you. Okay.
The
And that
Nano is a very finicky wheel,
it
especially
is.
the
The
older
Nano is a
version.
particularly finicky wheel. That's right. And this is why, I mean, Katie and I are both big advocates of the EW 6.1, the electric eel wheel 6.1 made by Dreaming Robots, which is the same company that makes the Nano. But there are lots of good wheels out there. And one of the things that I tell my students in the multiple different kinds of e-spinning class that I teach is the reason that there are so many different e-spinners out there is that different wheels work for different people. If the same tool worked for all of us, there would be one kind of electric screwdriver available at Home Depot and Lowe's instead of 25. So
Right.
just please do not decide. I entreat you not to decide if it is not working for you that it's you. It's really, really, really possible that it's the tool.
Yeah.
That said, question you're asking, Rologs first to comb top. I think Rologs are great. I think what I would say is if you're going to work with comb top, which is what a lot of people have, that's the big, the braids that you see that a lot of fiber shows.
Roving, this is what we're working with here.
Top for
So
roving, tear it into smaller pieces,
go
narrower
and
and
check out our
shorter.
first few videos of this series. It's Spinning with Q and Katy. I have it over on YouTube. All of them have been uploaded.
Okay.
They're not sorted or anything, but you can definitely find it. We started back at the beginning of November, or
Yep.
yeah, around the beginning of November. But one of the
Yep.
very first things I talk about is taking your roving and making sure you're opening it up and spreading it out, working in small pieces, because that's really going to make your journey a lot better. This is Oink. This is Targi.
Oh, beautiful,
Um,
beautiful.
and this is
And
their
Targi, another thing that we talk about, I think, in that video or the next one is different breeds
I
that
think
are
pole work.
great for people. Oh, there we go. Polework being a good one, who are starting their spinning journey as opposed to, somewhere in the midst of it. And Polework, Targi, Rambouillet, all of those are good. Also, you open up your top, you may find that your top is a little bit compacted. I have a friend here over at my house tonight who is reclaiming some compacted top. And that happens with top that has been around for a while or that was oversaturated when it was dyed or whatever. So again, if you're struggling with spinning, don't assume it's you. It may be what you're spinning. It may be what you're spinning on. There are a lot of options that are not, it's all my fault. It's usually not.
Did I tell you about what I read about steaming it?
No, tell me.
So yeah, like whenever you have a compacted piece of roving, you
Mhm.
can actually like steam it like you would like blocking, like a
What?
knit.
Okay.
And you very lightly with your steam iron, like over the top of it, or with your steamer, or whatever you like to do. But yeah,
Mhm.
and that will help open up those fibers and release some of that extra tension that where
Okay.
there's all smatted together. So yeah. Where do you find Rologs and comb top?
No, no, no,
Q
no. She wants the
is
video.
okay.
Videos. They're under you
So
guys, right? They're under Yarn Adventure Truck on YouTube.
yep, Yarn Adventure Truck on YouTube. And then most of them are still on Facebook as well. So
Okay.
you can
Oh, good
definitely go
idea.
back and look at both of our pages from Facebook.
Yep.
Instagram has been eating my videos lately. So once it goes live, I can't get back to it. It's been weird.
You know
But
what I read recently about opening up compacted top, which fascinated me? I think it
yeah.
was in Debbie Held's Blending Board Bible, which came out this
Mm-hmm.
year and is a good book about stuff like that. She, and I can't demonstrate this because I don't think my arms would do it, but she snaps compacted top like she's snapping a whip.
Oh,
She calls
really?
Yeah, she calls it snapping, and she picks it. And if she's working piece by piece, then she'll take it and she'll snap the end that is compacted, and then she'll move farther down it and snap that length of it.
Yes.
I'm dying to try this. You can never find compacted top when you need it. All of my top is light and fluffy. But I really
Allie from Yarn Market says that she's having the same problems with Instagram and videos, and
well,
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
why.
Oh well,
But
that's
yeah,
okay.
so
Damn you,
snapping
Instagram.
it, I will have to try that. Well,
Yeah.
the next time Q and I are together, we will do some
We'll
demos of
snap some top.
snapping some foam top. Okay, that'll be great.
And it'll be totally family friendly. Don't worry about it. Also, I feel like
we'll have
there's
to
a
work
thing
on
that
that snap and
yeah,
drop, right?
you got to get halfway good at it. I came into this saying I don't like Indian play, which I don't. Although this has kind of sold me on trying it for a couple different reasons. But I think it's important to mention that in this case, this is not an objection I have to Sarah Armstrong's book. This is an objection I have to this particular practice, and it is just that it does not work for me. So, if we hit a point where the snapping good time, okay, Carrie, that's really funny. If we hit a point, if either of us hits a point where we're like, okay, this book we're struggling with the book for some reason, that's a different issue. But in this case, my issue is not with the way this is being portrayed in the book. My issue is just with the technique itself. So, and now we've been told to snap
the
it.
bracelet flying, yeah.
Somebody is going to say snap it good, and I'm just going to go harkening right on back to my high school years, and that'll be fun.
So Miranda Weatherman also has commented, and from Angry Sheepdog Fibers out of West Plains, Missouri.
Yes.
And she says that she tells her students to start with a mid-grade wool like Shetland or Tunis if you can. Like I said, I like something a little softer. Shetland I find a little rough on my hands, just for my personal preference. And I find that Rambouillet is a really good starter wool for most people because it's got a lot of bounce. It's got all this bounciness going on.
Yeah, I love Rambouillet. Rambouillet and Targhee are my two favorites.
Which is why I usually recommend it for the beginners, and Targhee the same reason.
Yep.
So yeah. And then she also said that we should snap it, you too.
Snap it good. BFL too.
Yep. BFL, a little short on the staple lane for my taste. I
think it's a good beginning spin. That's interesting.
But I think BFL is a little overall, it's a little short. So great wool though, and honestly, you can't really go wrong. Just avoid like Miranda says, pure silk. Not gonna be something you want to do. Anything with a silk blend, most people don't need to start with. And then just because it's a little finicky and it might be very frustrating to you. And then Angora rabbit. It's very, very slippery. I'd say the same thing about alpaca. I don't usually start with 100% alpaca, just because it's very slippery, and a lot of times it just takes a little bit more for people to really get started with.
And I would not myself start with anything superwash. I do sometimes give my beginning spinning folks silk blend as long as it's not more than 25% silk, because sometimes I have a Targhee silk blend that is 80% Targhee and only 10% silk, and I can't remember what the other 10% is. Bamboo, I think. Bamboo and silk are both slick fiber, but it's 80% Targhee, and Targhee is a very clingy wool, so I feel okay about that particular blend. But superwash wool has been treated not to have scales, and scales are the thing that help wool stay together when you spin it. Superwash is lovely to spin, but it's a frustrating thing to spin when you're first starting out, because you're trying to keep so many different things together, drafting, and if you're using acoustic wheel, treadling, and the speed, and the rest of it, and having one more variable be, oh, this fiber is slipping through my hands before I can actually get it to do anything. That's kind of a recipe for frustration, and Katie and I are not really all about frustration. We are all about, doing it in a way that works for you and having a good time doing it. So superwash, another thing to stay away from if you can. That said, if all you have in your house is superwash merino and a spinning wheel, and you don't have any way to get anything else right now, start there. Start with what you got. Yep. Start where you are.
You can always check out Yarn Adventure Truck does have all of Q's litter mates online. So if you're looking for a lot of fiber, we can hook you up. And we do have some non-superwash options. And I do have a few other non-superwash options as well. So not a lot, but some. Okay, so we've been talking about fat singles the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, you got some?
Well, for me, this is fat. I'm working on it. It's getting there. She's getting there.
Okay, that's like I don't know, that's like whatever the latest supermodel is saying, oh, I'm so fat.
Do you see? Okay, there's my normal spin. There's my alpaca, and then there's my polar. There's a
They're
big
both
difference
beautiful. By the
there.
way, there is snapping going on in the background of this video on my end, and it does not look like it is being wildly successful, but not sure they're
Okay.
taking it as seriously as it should be taken. So, as you can
So
tell
you
from the
can kind of
giggles.
see the how,
The
but you can
difference.
see how different my spin is. So I was very
Yep.
intentional about how thick I made this, and then my ply. I want to make this a heavier yarn for sure.
Excellent.
Yarn Adventure Truck is my business. So I own a mobile yarn shop. We travel all over the country visiting
Awesome place.
fiber festivals and all kinds of things. Right now we're visiting family. So
Awesome business.
and we will have our live video tomorrow night from Nashville, my in-laws' house. Right now we're at my parents.
That's
And
Nashville,
so
Arkansas, not Asheville,
yeah.
Tennessee. If they were in Nashville, Tennessee, I would be dragging them down to Huntsville, where I live, because Huntsville, Alabama, and Nashville, Tennessee are only about an hour and a half away. Arkansas is a little farther, sadly for me.
All right.
So,
Are you ready for the last bit of this video?
I think so.
All right. So I've been very terrible about opening my Advent.
Oh, let's
So
see.
I have night 3 of my Advent.
Fiber Advent from Stag and Spindle.
Stag and Spindle. So
Ooh, I'm
this is
excited.
it. Stag and Spindle.
Oh, is that pretty?
Out of Pittsburgh, and this is the Winter's Wheel, a Scottish spinning advent, and it's all about the Yule and solstice and spinning journeys. So
Cool. Okay.
I'll recap the first couple of days, and then I will pull night 3 here.
Yes, please. Can't wait to see
So,
this.
all right, 3. All right, let me see which one is which. All right, this is 1. So this was Winter Sunrise, and this is a Corriedale wool blend.
Pretty. Pretty.
I ended our stream.
It's still live on
Oh
my
no,
end.
Instagram had a moment. Everything else is going. Okay, cool.
All right.
So we're just gonna keep going here. Instagram quit.
Uh-oh. Still going on my end.
All right, cool. Instagram's been very finicky lately. Okay, so Winter Sunrise.
Okay.
And obviously I haven't spun it yet. I'm getting there.
Really? That's a really fat single right there.
This one, night 2, I don't remember the name of night 2, is the Evergreen in the Cairngorms. Like Cairngorms.
I don't know. I've always thought Cairngorms. That's because, oh, look at that.
And it's this really lovely blend. And this is Shetland, Merino, and Stellina. So that one's fun.
That's beautiful. I love that. So what are you getting, 2 ounces per night? Is that the deal?
I think so.
Okay.
I think they're 2-ounce bundles. And this one was all about healing and staying in the moment, and what about resilience with Evergreen. And so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so it came with like little prompts all about your witchy journey too. So that's cool. Okay, so night 3, we have a Saint Nick ornament.
Yay.
He's wearing plaid and a kilt, and he's carrying bagpipes.
Hand carrying bagpipes. Absolutely. Okay. Bring it on.
All right. So night 3 is the Sea Mither and Terran. So this one's another Corriedale and Merino with nap.
Oh, okay.
So, okay.
I'm allergic to naps. I like dyeing them. Let's see what this looks like. I'm curious.
You're allergic to naps?
Not really, but I mean, you know.
I was like, you
spinning naps drive me nuts.
Kinds of things.
All right. Yep. Usually I put naps in things that someone else is going to spin or felt. They're great to felt with. All right, let's see it.
Orkney folklore tells of Sea Mither, the compassionate spirit of the summer seas who battles Terran, the wild winter tempest each year. Their endless struggle brings the changing tides, with Sea Mither's gentle hand calming the storm and Terran's howling winds. For the fishermen, these stories explain the unpredictable moods of the sea. Through these tales, the islands grew resilient, respecting both the nurturing and wrathful aspects of the natural world. And so the questions, or the journaling prompts, are about finding balance and working through turbulence in our lives, And maybe that's what the NEPs are all about. Working through
Well,
those
I certainly
turbulent
find that turbulent.
pieces.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
So,
Oh, that's beautiful.
with the lovely silky, look at that. That's gonna be so pretty. Okay,
Yummy.
I'm very excited. So yeah,
I can't wait to see what he's
yay.
going to look like spun up.
I know, I gotta get on it.
Oh, that was
I'll
not a
get there
hint.
eventually.
Crying out loud. It was not a hint.
But anyway, so I'm working through it. It's gonna get there. We're gonna make it.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I just read a really interesting article in Spinoff, I think, about taking vertically striped roving like that and splitting it color wise the way there's quite a lot of information out there about splitting color blocked roving that is blocked horizontally rather than vertically. I thought that was really an intriguing idea. I think it would be harder with a roving where the variation in color comes from a single stripe of something like silk, but with a couple of those, it looked like the second one with the even amounts of brown and green. It looked to me like you could strip them and spin them, recombine the colors if you wanted to. They also look like they're going to be beautiful spun just like they come. But
I've spun his fiber before, and I liked the way that it kind of merged all together. I did get that kind of neppy look to it, and I really liked it. So
cool. I'm looking forward to
I
it.
do have that as well. So Yarn Adventure Truck is where I live, and then Q is the fold out cat. And we appreciate you joining our journey as we work through this book and through our through Stag and Spindle's Advent. Next week
we're chain plying. Yay! Chain plying we're chain plying.
Oh, chain plying.
Yeah, we are chain plying out the wazoo. That's what we're doing. Goodness me.
Okay.
Hawser plying. I have no idea what that is. Next week, we're talking about chain plying, which is my preferred way to deal with a singles if I'm going to ply the singles by itself.
And chain plying is pages 82
through 91.
91. It's a long, there's like variations on chain plying.
Yeah,
like
a lot of it though.
Beading and stuff. And I was like, I don't know about that, but we'll
a lot of it is about knitting with chain plied yarn.
So maybe I will talk about that because I have actually done some of that. So
you mean knitting, which I have not done in years and am terrible at. I think it would be great if you talked about that. If I talk about knitting, it'll mostly be to go, I don't know how to do this, but it looks cool. And I just feel like that's not as educational as it could be.
I will try my best to work something up in the next few days. So
in your spare time, it is the holiday season, but we'll do our level best as we always do. It varies. The level of our level best varies from week to week, but we do our best.
All right. Until then, Q, have a lovely time with visiting friends. I will chat with you later this week.
And to all of you, if you are celebrators of Christmas in any form, a Merry Christmas to you. And if you are not, a good holiday season to you.
Happy solstice.
Thank you all.
It happened. The light is here. The light's coming back.
That's right. We're headed in the light direction. I'm excited about that. Bye, y'all.
All right. Good night, y'all.